Hello everyone, this is Miss Jess with Story County Conservation. So to get started, first of all, you're going to need to download and print this Naturally Sensational booklet. If you are unable to print, you can follow along with the booklet online, or you can come on out to McFarland Park, give us a call and request a booklet, and we'll bring one out for you. What we're going to be doing is exploring your own senses and comparing them to animal senses, some adaptations that they have that help them live and survive in the wild. When we turn to the first page of our booklet, we are going to explore binocular versus monocular vision. In just a second, you're going to pause the video to read the diagram, and then you're going to do the activity in the booklet. As soon as you're done with that, we'll do our actual first experiment. We're going to do our first experiment. We're going to test our monocular versus binocular vision. So we're going to be doing this part of the booklet. To do this experiment, you're going to need either a pencil without the sharp end or a dowel like this. Or if you can't find either, go outside. See if you can find a long, straight stick. You're also going to need a friend or a grown-up to help you. I brought in Elizabeth today to help me. So to do this experiment, we're going to see how good of hunters we would be with either one eye or two eyes. So to help eliminate an eye, all we're going to do is cover an eye, and I'm going to try to touch the end of the dowel, and I'm going to count how many tries it takes me. Oh, that one took me only one try. So I'm going to record that in my booklet. Now I'm going to try covering my right eye, and I'm going to see how strong my left eye is. Oh, I missed. I'm going to have to try that again. That was one try. Two. It took me 2 tries to touch the end of the dowel. Now I'm going to open both eyes and see if I'm better. Only took me 1 try. So for me, having both eyes is better than one. Let's see how it works for you. Did you know that an owl can actually hear a beetle crawling through the grass over 100 feet away? Many animals have different adaptations to help them either listen for their prey or listen for their predators from a long distance away. Even some animals like deer and rabbits can actually shift their ears around to the direction they are hearing sound in order for them to hear better. In this next experiment, we're going to test your own hearing. So here's what you're going to need. First of all, you're going to need your Naturally Sensational booklet, and you're going to want to go to the Test Your Hearing page. The next thing you're going to need is either a long driveway, a sidewalk, or some blacktop. Anywhere where you can draw a line using chalk. You're going to need something that's about 100 feet long, which also means you're going to need your tape measure. Now my tape measure only goes to about 10 feet. Can you think of a way that I can use this using 10-foot increments to create a 100-foot line? Why don't you do that math now? Once you're done with the math, I also want you to take the time to pause the video and read these instructions right here. And I've also measured out units of 5 increments. So for every 5 feet, I drew a line. Once you have your lines drawn, it's time to conduct the experiment. You're also going to need a grown-up or a sibling or a socially distant friend to help you. My friend is all the way down there. She's ready to help us with the experiment. So what you're going to do is you're going to have your grown-up or your friend be the predator. In this case, I'm going to be the predator. You're going to be the prey. The prey needs to go to all the way at the end of the line. Now the predator is going to think of something to say to the prey. Maybe an action. Maybe I'll have her do jumping jacks. Maybe I'll have her tap her head. And I'm going to say this in my normal speaking voice. If she can't hear me, she's going to move forward 5 more feet to get closer. And I'm going to say the action over again. Once she performs the action, I know that she can hear me, and she's going to count how many feet away she is to get back to me. So let's show you how that's done. Again, I'm the predator, and I'm going to tell her to jump on 1 foot. Jump on one foot. Wow, she could already hear me. Maybe I'm gonna have to make my line a little longer. But let's pretend she couldn't hear me. So let's pretend Elizabeth couldn't hear me. So she's gonna come forward 5 more feet. So I'm gonna try again. Tap your head. Go ahead and tap your head. If she can't hear me, she's gonna come forward 5 more feet. Pat your head. She heard me, so now she's gonna count her way back using those 5-foot increments. Let's hear Elizabeth. Come on back and count your way back for us.
5, 10, 15, 45,
50. So Elizabeth was able to hear me 50 feet away. Now this time, we're gonna repeat the experiment, but this time I'm gonna give her some deer ears, and I'm gonna see if she can hear me even better using those. So this time, Elizabeth, when you do the experiment, you're gonna cup your ears like this and see if you can hear me even further away this time. Now that you know how it's done, you can try this experiment at home yourself. This next experiment, we're gonna do feeling with sound. Find this page in your booklet. And in just a moment, you're going to pause the video to read the diagram. Many animals don't hear sounds the same way we do. In fact, a lot of times they feel sound by feeling vibrations in the ground. So we're going to do an experiment where you get to try to feel vibrations just like a snake would. So for this experiment, you're going to need a few items. First of all, try to find a piece of board, or a large piece of cardboard, or even a Tupperware lid like this. You're going to want to find either a pencil, a paintbrush, a hammer, or a wooden spoon, different objects you can use to kind of hammer on the board or the cardboard or the lid. You're also going to need a friend or a grown-up to help you. I'm going to bring in Elizabeth again to help me. So Elizabeth, what we're going to do is I'm going to stand on the board here, and I'm going to cover my ears, and I'm going to shut my eyes, and you're going to hammer on the lid here, and I'm going to see if I can tell the difference between each one just by feeling the vibrations. So I'm plugging my ears, and I'm closing my eyes. I'm gonna guess the hammer.
No, it was a pencil.
Oh. I'm gonna guess the hammer again.
Paintbrush.
Definitely the hammer.
Definitely the hammer, yes.
Let's see how you do at home. And if you don't have any of these objects, you could also just try feeling vibrations on the floor. If Elizabeth stomps on the floor right near my hands, go ahead, Elizabeth. I can feel them right through the floor, just the same way as a snake would.
That snakes can detect the slightest tremors, including those which happen before an earthquake.
Don't forget to do the activities in your booklets. Can you circle which body parts do you think these animals use? In this next experiment, we're going to do the smell of survival. We're going to play a little game where one of us gets to be prey and the other one gets to be the predator. A lot of times, prey and predators use their sense of smell to find each other. And a big factor of how far away they're able to smell each other is the wind. So for this experiment, you're going to need a jar of vinegar and a friend or a couple of friends to join you. You're also going to want to pause the video now to read the diagram. Now that you've read the diagram, let's do the experiment. To help me, I'm going to use Miss Elizabeth again. So we're going to come over here, and Miss Elizabeth is going to hold this jar of vinegar. And I'm going to go a couple steps away. And actually I'm going to go 10 steps away. And I'm going to move around Miss Elizabeth until I think I can smell that vinegar. So far I can't Now that I'm downwind of Elizabeth, I can kind of smell the vinegar. I'm going to take a couple steps closer until I can smell it even better. Wow, that's really strong now. Let's see how many steps it takes you until you can smell the vinegar. Move around the vinegar and see what helps you smell it better. This next experiment, we are going to explore feeling for your food. Please take a moment to read the diagram and complete these pictures. You're going to try to circle the body part you think the animal uses to feel for food. Many animals actually don't use their eyes to find their food, but actually have different body parts to help them. Even plants, like the Venus flytrap, has certain sensors that help them know when food is available. Pause your video now to explore this diagram and complete this page. Now that you've read the diagram and completed the page, we're going to do a little experiment. For this experiment, you need a non-see-through bag, some random toys and objects, and one wrapped actual food item. Even better is if you can have somebody pick out these objects for you so you don't know what they are or what they feel like. Once you've found the objects to do this, you're going to put everything in the bag. Now you're going to use your sense of touch to try to find the only edible object. Once you think you found it, you're going to pull it out. Is that edible? Nope. Try again. Oh, there it is, my Rice Krispie bar. That's something I can eat. You can recreate this at home by using other objects as well. You could just see if you could figure out what they are by only using your sense of touch. Maybe you can even go outside and find some natural objects to use for this game. For this next experiment is called a tasty test. We're going to explore your taste buds a little bit. So for this experiment, first you need to pause the video to read the diagram. The next thing you're going to need is a piece of candy. It could be mint, Starburst, or Jolly Rancher, something that you're going to be able to taste the flavor. For this experiment, I'm going to use a Jolly Rancher. First thing you're going to need to do is really dry out your tongue. You could just stick it in the air for a while, or you could take a cloth and wipe it down. And once you think your tongue is nice and dry, you're going to try to see if you can taste the candy. If you can't taste the candy, you know that you got your tongue nice and dry. Saliva actually helps you digest your food and helps you have the ability to taste your food as well. Without saliva, you're not going to be able to taste anything. Now, wipe down your tongue and let's try this again. This time, plug your nose.
Once your nose is plugged, now you can try to taste the candy again.
If you can't taste it, how do you think your sense of smell affects your sense of taste? For your last activity, you're going to notice at the back of your Naturally Sensational journal, there's your nature journal. Your challenge here is to find a space outdoors where there's nobody else around. It could be in a tree, maybe under a bush, maybe you have to go to a park. Maybe it's just simply the grass in your backyard. Wherever you want it to be, somewhere where you think it's really peaceful and quiet. I want you to stay in that space for at least 15 minutes and just listen. Look around, smell, see what you discover. And as you're thinking and discovering, write down your thoughts in this journal. You can write down what you're seeing, smelling, feeling, any thoughts going around in your head. It's your journal. This is your time to explore nature and be at peace. It's during these times when we stop and slow down that we really start to discover what's around us. For example, I never knew that moss grew on trees like this. And as I'm looking closer, I can actually see little insects in this tree. I probably would have never discovered that had I not slowed down to just be still and quiet in this space. I've also, when I look up, there's birds' nests and robins going back and forth. I wonder what they're doing there. So you never know what you're going to discover until you just slow down and use your senses.